no, it's foggy. That's not good. Just getting into my 1000cc journey, starting with the Yamaha R1. This is 2011 model, and today we'll be doing a first real kind of a ride with it. I just received it from the shipping guys like 2 days ago. It's actually really funny. They just like offloaded it on the main street here, like all the way down that way, because they had a really big trailer. It was just like these two fucking, I don't even know, from two guys from Kazakhstan, God knows, I don't know, man. But they had like flip-flops. They're unloading it. I'll post a clip here. But they were trying to ask me for like additional payment. I'm like, buddy, no, this shit's paid for. The shipping was paid for. I paid for it from the dealers and everything, had that included to my whole out the door price and all that good stuff. But well, the shit was paid for, so they were trying to scam the fuck out of me. I was like, nah, offload that shit now. Give me my bike. But I want to kind of go over just like first impressions, you know, coming from, you know, 600cc bikes. I mean, as of recently, I've just been putting around on my my Ninja 650, so obviously huge difference between the two. And then kind of just to give you guys my experience with you know, a first impression. Not my first ride on this bike, but it's honestly probably my third ride. I took it on a ride when I had to come and pick it up, because the day I got it shipped, I had to take a break from work. So I literally took my lunch break, and I only get an hour, and it took me 30 minutes to get to home from work. And then it took them like an extra like 15-20 minutes to offload it, and it took me another 30-25 minutes to get to work. So I was late, so I was chewed out for that already. So that was the first ride, going to work and then coming back, which was super cool. You know, don't get me wrong, that was the first real ride, but unfortunately I do not have footage of that, unfortunately. The second ride was earlier today. I just went to go get it washed. It was pretty dirty, so I wanted my first like real video of this to be in its most pristine condition. This bike is used, has about 13,000 miles on it. Nice Acura full system. I know everyone says show the blue if it's full system. There goes the blue right there, baby. So super nice. Let's just go hop on, and then we'll do a ride, park up, talk about it some more. Man, listen to that thing. Listen to that thing. Man, it just sounds so good, man. So, naturally, the biggest difference, and if we're talking about initial impressions right off the bat, jumping to a 1000s, definitely has to be the power. It has to be the power. That's the first thing anyone will notice. Honestly, it feels like I've been riding 125cc bikes this whole time. This thing, in terms of power delivery and then just sheer amount, way different. Even from when I had my 2014 R6 back then, and I thought that was a jump. Now this is a completely different ball game. Just in terms of initial specs, I think out the box we're sitting at 185 horsepower at 85 foot-pounds of torque. So we'll talk about that in a second too. So huge jump from like my 650 with like not even 100 horsepower, and then my R6 back then with like what, maybe 115. I don't know specs on the R6 like that, but obviously if I'm buying a 1000 I would know a few. Yeah, and this obviously coming in at 154 pounds total is not the heaviest bike at all. You know, being 1000 is definitely going to be a lot heavier in terms of just raw weight, but in terms of power, I think would be my next talking point. And the engine, introduced in 2009 to kind of find a different motor to use in their GP bikes, which is the crossplane engine. So that gives this bike honestly constant power everywhere in the power band. It still feels like 1000 cc's or a super sport when you're in the high end, but it feels really punchy, like, you know, honestly, like, I don't want to say like my 650, but it feels like you're on a naked bike in the low RPMs. It feels like I can just put around town in it. Is it the most comfortable to do that? No. But I think you get best of both worlds, and you really get a very unique sounding engine. The newer bikes, the 2015 and onward models, they definitely sound a little different than the older gen, like the one I have, the 2011 here. But in terms of engine, I don't think you can get anything more unique and really revolutionary than something like a crossplane engine. I think is really nice. Don't get me wrong, I love my inline fours. They sound super sick. But you know, I mean, myself, I own a V8, my Audi S5, and this sounds honestly just like it, which is super cool. Well, I mean, if I wanted something just like it, you know, obviously I'd get like a V4 or something, but let's get a run in. So one of the things that's really hard to, a little bit of a learning curve would be like rev matching and all that, coming from the 650 is way different. But honestly, all my experience from the 600, riding that for a year, 650, having that for, you know, 2-3 odd years total, has really transitioned quite nicely in terms of, okay, basic motor skills, how can I operate, you know, a bigger, faster bike as a whole. So honestly, it's not too different. You just get a little bit more to play with, which is really, really nice. And the selection of 1,000cc bikes nowadays, way different. You have a lot of different bikes that kind of fit different riding styles. From what I've seen, doing my own research, how I like to ride, I like to be a little bit more aggressive in everywhere in the power band, low end, higher end. I have that kind of freedom to play with something like this. So it was either this or, honestly, an older gen BMW S1000RRR. Like, those are always super cool too. Like the ones that look like a fucking shark. I think those were sick. I was looking at quite a few of those. Ooh, first set of twisties. Let's see how this goes. Oh, he's super slow with it. That was not good. You can see there are some takeovers that happen here. Let's set her right here. So beautiful, man. Like, damn. This bike is just so clean, man. Just in terms of looks, I think that is probably one of the biggest talking points. Like, when you're kind of looking at this thing, man, it's just mean. That super aggressive front end, how it kind of angles like that, how wide it is. Honestly, comparatively to the R6, this really actually isn't that much wider, technically speaking. Now that I've been riding this one, in terms of kind of positioning and kind of feel, like ergonomics and everything, obviously I'm not super foreign to the Super Sport platform, having the R6 back then. So it's nothing different in terms of, like, okay, how do I operate and how do I kind of maneuver, like, my feet? How do I kind of use my hands? Like, how should my posture be on it? It's not different. It's just something to relearn, honestly. So that's just gonna come with time. In terms of riding style, obviously it being a super sport, very aggressive, very lean forward. If I'm not mistaken, since this bike is used, I think it is lowered. Like for I have a 29-inch inseam. And honestly, I can flat foot this with a bend in my knees, which is crazy because my 650 I couldn't do that, my 600 I couldn't do that. So just based off that alone, I could confidently say that this bike has been lowered for sure. So one of the other big things I want to talk about with this bike is definitely the mental shift, right? So obviously from hopping from a 125cc bike to a 400, there's not too big of a difference. But this is, for a lot of people, if it's their first time like myself, is uncharted territory. So, you know, with a 650, there's definitely a lot more room for error in terms of motor skills. Like, yeah, I can just full on the throttle and, you know, nothing will really happen to a degree, but there's a lot less margin for that type of mistake with something like this. So, again, that comes with time for every rider. You just, you know, ride your own ride. That's something that, you know, I'm really good at, controlling, you know, controlling how I want to ride. So I would say that would be one of the biggest things or key takeaways when it comes to, you know, hopping onto a 1000 for yourself. And then also, if we have been riding kind of, I don't want to say like myself, but I feel like I have been riding for quite some time. In retrospect, comparatively, have I? No. 3-4 years, that's not super long. But in terms of skill transfer, if you're good on a 600 and you can translate that fairly to a 1000, it's really rewarding. But if you don't have that skill set, you'll feel it, for sure. You'll feel like you can't maneuver the bike. I mean, I just took that roundabout, felt like shit, right? Give me some break, give me some grace here, guys. I haven't been on a super sport in a minute, but you feel that instantly. Is like, your riding is shit. Just truthfully speaking, I'm not there yet where I think I can confidently push this bike around bends. I mean, on the highway, anyone can go fast. I mean, I hit 120 and then that's pretty much where I stop for now. Like, this thing is, it demands respect, and if you don't give it to you, or give it back to it, it'll fuck you up for sure. So I would say that's a really big thing to kind of keep in mind, if we are either advanced, or advanced riders kind of stepping into the 1000 cc's, or kind of like myself, where I'm still getting my footing from lower cc bikes, and then we're hopping into a 1000. Had to make a quick pit stop. I was just recording back then, and battery died, and I didn't have a backup battery on me, so I had to go pick up my actual one back home. But I just let's just hit up a spot so we can wrap up this video. Enjoy this chill ride for a second here. Calm little Porsche. Thanks, bro. Or you see how he do the triple take? He's like, damn, what am I finna say, man? Hey, man, I'll let y'all know if y'all got a 1000 to pick up the girls. You picked the wrong type of hobby, bro. You're gonna be picking up guys. Attention span deficit section of the video where I just give you the TLDL, too long didn't listen. Biggest difference, first impressions for hopping onto a 1000 cc bike. First thing, power delivery, super aggressive, way different from a 600, 650, with just way more power, and then way more power everywhere in the power band. So definitely something to get used to when it comes to kind of riding. Two, the sound, super unique. This is specific to the R1 itself. It's that, hold on, let me take off this ND filter, see if it's any different. Hopefully that's better. Something specific to the R1, it is a cross-plane engine. Super unique sound, really kind of growls more than kind of screams like an inline 4. So super unique. definitely really cool. Something that's different from my R6 that I had way back when. So that's something I'm getting used to. It's really cool to, you know, ride something a little different for a change. So if you're looking to R1, maybe you want a different type of sound or kind of feel to the bike, I think anything with a crossplane like this, super sick. The third overall is it's heavier, and it's much harder technically to kind of ride, but it's all kind of in the right ways, in a sense where it's super rewarding in terms of like riding. So if you are someone that's proficient in bikes, and this would be, 1000cc bikes, I think is the just natural progression. So if you kind of hone that craft and motor skills, then I think you'll be more than fine. You'll be rewarded generously when you hop onto a 1000cc. And then lastly, I think one of the biggest differences and something to really keep in mind is something when you hop on a 1000, you have to not necessarily ride it, but you definitely have to like pilot it in a sense where everything has to be very intentional. A lot less room for error. So that's one of the transitioning things that you have to really get used to when it comes to a bike like this, is kind of just riding technique. I guess that would kind of bleed in. 3 and 4, I guess, is kind of the same, where they kind of intertwine with each other. Is that, if you're good, then cool. It's a much funner bike to kind of be on 100%. But also that on the back end of it, you have to sharpen your skills when it comes to things you aren't really the best at. So if that means, taking this riding season and maybe not upgrading and waiting till next season, or just taking a little bit more time to kind of, get some more of the basics kind of mastered, then I would definitely say, put a pause in it. These bikes will always be around. I get it. There's some really good deals online. And then kind of like to your local dealers, there will be the same amount of deals next season, if not better. I'd say, don't put a price on yourself, man. There's no need to hop on something like this, because when you get a 1000cc bike, you kind of have to come to terms with, and it sounds crazy to say, but you have to come to terms with death, because these are really no joke. So I'm just gonna go take some B-roll shots, throw them into the vid, but basically gonna wrap it up here, man. If you guys kind of like what you saw, if you guys want to see anything in particular now that we're on the 1000, I'm definitely gonna do a day in a life, because 1000 is super non-practical. So I'm gonna figure out something cool that we can do with that. One other thing I want to do a 6 months kind of review, or maybe I guess towards the end of this riding season, we'll kind of see what it's like, whether that be 3, 4, 5 months time. See where we're kind of at the end of the season. See how I kind of feel, pros, cons. I definitely want to do a video like that. But some things on the docket. I definitely want to do some big things. I want to do some traveling with this bike, go to some meetups with it. So all of that seemed to come. But if there's anything in particular you guys want to see, man, drop it down in the comments below. I'm really down to kind of do anything with this bike. So just curious to see where everyone's at. But I'm gonna go shoot some B-roll here, man. If you guys enjoyed the video, and only if you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.